Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. I am sorry you see my face here. I'm sure it's like when you go to a Broadway show and you get the understudy instead of the lead, but I'll do my best to fill in here. Bigger slate, I think the biggest on the week so far in 9 games tonight. Some fun matchups too. So let's dive right in. Mike, how are you?
Doing good. Yeah, busy morning. Firing off, I think 7 props already. Took me forever to write matchups. We had a big prop day yesterday, so I couldn't get ahead on matchups. I think I've left since I think I woke up at like 6 o'clock yesterday. I think I've left my desk for like a total of 10 minutes.
Oh man, we got to
But
stretch those legs.
yeah, but that's what's up. I'll go on a hike at some point in the next
Good.
24 hours, and maybe I'll hit like 3 in a row.
Good,
So let's
good.
let's
You
get it.
should. You should. Yeah, let's dive right in. So let's just hit a couple general spots before we dive into the Q tags because there are a handful of Q tags. So let's start with the Raptors, who seem to play every day, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why they
Right.
just seem like they're out all the time. But we did luckily get the news early in the day that Fred VanVleet was ruled out. OG was ruled out also either late last night or early this morning once again. So similar situation that we've seen them in the last couple games, and now tonight we also have Thad Young questionable here. So Raptors tonight, I saw last night, obviously Malachi Flynn got the start, but they did not close with him.
hmm
How do you expect to see things shake out for Toronto tonight at home against Orlando?
Yeah, I expect it to go big.
Yeah.
We see a lot of Scotty Barnes point guard. We see a lot of Siakam point guard. I think they're going to go massive today. I think it's pretty good. We saw the minutes from Boucher, but didn't have
Yeah.
it per minute.
No.
I'm into Boucher again for sure. I think Scotty Pascal and Trent Jr. are guys I really like. I think. Did you see if not? Did Malachi's price come up or no? Do you know?
Good question. I
Well,
don't
if
know off
anybody
the top of
knows,
my
just drop
head.
it. I'm sure if anybody knows, just drop it. But if it's up, I'm probably out. But we'll see. We'll just see big size. Wendell Carter Jr. is
Not
questionable on the other side. But
so
yeah,
on
definitely
FanDuel,
some.
it went way up to 6,200, but on DraftKings, he's down to 3,900. So I
Oh
think
my God! So
he's still
there's
a
your answer.
yeah, he's still chalk on DraftKings for sure.
Yeah. So you're fading on FanDuel and you're probably playing on DraftKings.
Yep. Yep. For sure. Yeah. So I would expect them to go big too, obviously, with that big Orlando front. We'll dive more into that on the DFS show, but
Yep.
once again, will be a spot where I don't know if you're definitely locking a Raptor, but it's going to be close once again. So
hmm
anyway, keep an eye there. We'll see what the starting lineup looks like. Just other spots just to kind of hit on quickly. Again, the Suns still without Booker, dealing with health and safety. I don't know how long he'll be out. Obviously, Chris Paul is out. We did see Campaign return in the last game and get the start. Luckily, they didn't need to push him too hard because they had the game in hand
Yeah.
pretty early. But another similar situation tonight where I don't think they should have too much problems against the Knicks at home,
Mhm.
even without CP3 and Book. So you expect Payne to start again? Any limitations there? How do you see the Suns shaking things out tonight?
Yeah, Monty kept to his word. He wanted to run 5 minute stints, generally 5, 6 minute stints on campaign, basically playing the first half of each quarter, and then didn't play the first half of the fourth quarter because they were up by like 35 or whatever. So I thought he looked great.
Yeah,
Like
he
all the
looked good.
signs indicate that he was like ready to rock and roll. 5 minutes of touch time in 20 minutes is a really big number. That's like almost Harden like. 14 potential assists in those 20 minutes. That's like more than CP3. Like, so the role is just absolutely bonkers. Definitely going to be a huge part. The Suns are going to have kind of a team effort according to them, but campaign I expect to be the head of the snake. Interesting matchup for DeAndre Ayton against Mitch. Against the Knicks, are pretty good interior wise.
Yeah,
So I expect the perimeter guys to really carry a heavy load here. But yeah, campaign. Expect him to. I'd probably say like looking at like 30 today, but no issues from him. Again, the role is just going to be fan freaking tastic and a matchup I really like for him too. So he should be chalk. I mean, good
agreed.
chalk, really good chalk.
Agreed. And we took some of his over props in the last game. And I mean, the assist stuff was there, but the points, he just, he missed a couple shots. But,
Yeah.
the way the Knicks give up open threes, some of those perimeter guys, including Payne, should be in play tonight.
Yep.
All right. So, and then the last team, just to talk on rotation wise, the Thunder, still really thin. We saw Poku, was chalk on Wednesday and got there.
Mhm.
It's SGA and a bunch of misfits, but it seems like they're making it work for now after an impressive win in Denver. Are you into Roby tonight? Do you expect to see a similar starting lineup? What do you think for OKC?
Yeah, very different kind of approach here because we always say Denver has kind of and OKC's kind of run into a lot of like single ball handler kind of situations or zero in at least guard because it's just Jokic. But I think they start again. I mean, Mark Daigneault's not going to talk him up saying he's earned the starting role, blah, 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 him playing well, him winning the game. I mean, you would think that there's no reason to change the lineup. You can just deal with it, and you try to figure out how to cover D'Lo with, I don't know if they would dare throw Trey Mann or somebody on that, because I don't know if they want to put Baisley up that high with the lack of perimeter defense around him. But yeah, I do think they start again. Pretty similar rotation. We know Derek Favors is out again. Roby gets a really, really tough matchup against Cat. Could talk about that in a second when we get to the Minnesota side. But yeah, I expect the minutes to be pretty same. And I hate this matchup for SGA, honestly. Only 15.5 points per game. He gets Patrick Beverley and what's going to almost certainly be Jaden McDaniels. McDaniels is really one of the best guys who can limit drivers. He's so long at getting in front of people. So I'm actually out on SGA for like the first time in a while. But yeah, Poku's probably going to see D'Angelo Russell. So like Poku, could be pretty sneaky here. We'll see if he's chalk or not.
Yeah, that's a great point on SGA there. I mean, McDaniel's especially one of the few guys body type wise and athleticism wise that could probably really slow SGA down. So, we'll dive into that starting lineup again. We saw Roby and Poku both be, really needed on Wednesday. We'll see what that looks like again tonight. I think that's it for kind of situations. Let's dive right into questionables here. Let's start with Detroit, because it was just Frank Jackson on the injury report. And then we get the 1:30 and Cade Cunningham pops up as a questionable with the wrist soreness or whatever's going on there. And Marvin Bagley is back tonight. So do you expect Cade to go? And if not, what do you think here?
I mean, I always say if Cade's on an injury report, I'm leaning out. I don't know if we're not going to project him out, but I go back to this quote every time: very minor ankle sprain, cost him a month.
Yeah.
So I think he's sitting. That means, oh boy, big spot for Jeremy Grant, in my opinion, with him out. The Pacers just let people go in the paint on them all day. Jeremy Grant's hot. Minutes have been really good. So they protect the 3-point line better. So it's much more of a Grant spot than anybody else. Also interesting that, Corey Joseph got big minutes, not an injury report. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe he's on the mix, but man, I'm going to be drawn to Jeremy Grant in kind of a big way here.
Yeah, and
just with the minutes, Frank Jackson's out too, so I think we'll see a little Killian overlap, a little bit of Kojo overlap. Rodney McGruder may step into the starting lineup. It'd probably be Hamidou Diallo, I would think, because you probably want another longer defender out there against those Pacer boys. But yeah, either way, like there's a lot of value here. Cade's been playing really well. He's been shooting the ball up better. His drives are up. I actually talked him up in matchups before I got the injury report. He had 17 drives per game since the break, which is a huge uptick from pre-break stuff.
Yeah, I was writing top plays, obviously, and I'm in the midst of doing so. And, I was looking at the game and reading what you had to say for matchups too. And it was definitely one I was looking to target. And I think that this might even make it more attractive, because if he misses, it's going to spread some things out. We always like Diallo in tournaments when his role's expanded. And then, even just Corey Joseph getting the start at, minimum near minimum prices it would make the slate more interesting as a whole, given that Flynn and Payne are going to be chalk again here. It would basically just stretch some stuff out. So that's a sneaky one to watch. And then Frank Jackson also questionable. If he also misses along with Cade, then you're looking at McGruder and Corey Joseph and Killian and Diallo and all these guys as possible options. So we'll keep an eye there. Marvin Bagley back tonight. I don't think it really impacts things too much. Maybe, takes a little bit of the upside off of like the Stuart Olynyk types, but I think, for the most part, he'll be getting his 20-ish minutes or so, and that'll probably be it. Yeah.
Stuart's been pretty good.
Yeah.
His fouls have been still kind of bad, but this is probably the best matchup he's going to get in a while. So if he could avoid foul trouble, I'm definitely this game it just became really good. It's honestly one of the best games on the slate. I haven't looked at prices yet, but when I was writing matchups, I was like, man, there's a lot of like really favorable matchups here. And now without Cade, it's even better for if Cade doesn't go. I should say that. Like there's potentially a lot of really big targets. Just to add, nothing on that. Well, actually, we can hit Pacers. I'll get to that later. So sorry.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, well, why don't we just go right to that one right now, even though it's not necessarily in the order. But Pacers got some questionables here as well. Chris Duarte, questionable. He seems like he's been questionable for a couple weeks now. And Goga Bitadze, also questionable. Not as relevant as kind of Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, O'Shea Brissett and company have taken over those front court minutes. But Lance Stevenson is probable here. So Pacers, I mean, let's talk about the questionables and then talk about Malcolm Brogdon, who, surprised us all with a 41-minute, just dominant performance on Wednesday.
Yeah, incredible game. Yeah, Duarte, according to Rick Carlisle, said that they're hopeful he would play Friday. He kind of poo-pooed them playing on Wednesday, didn't play. So that wasn't a surprise. I think he's not going to play, but I don't feel great about it. It's a toe thing he's been playing through pretty much for a month now, or, the break was overlapping. So whatever, 3-4 weeks, whatever it is. So honestly, there's not a lot to take away from. Obviously a little bit of ceiling on Buddy Hield, maybe a little bit more ceiling on some of the other guys if he doesn't play. You're not going between Washington or Taylor, those guys. No. But so honestly, not a huge slate swinging thing, and it is the first game of the day too. So pretty straightforward. But yeah, go ahead.
I agree. No, I just more from a macro conversation. What do we take from this Malcolm Brogdon? No limit. Not is he just when he's out there, we just have to assume he's good to go, and Carlisle's going to ride him.
Yeah, he's Master P, he's the president with the no limit. But yeah, man, my God, the roll, 31 drives, and only I think he had 36 front court touches and 31 drives. It was dude, every time this guy got the ball, he was just making plays. Yeah, I'm in. I don't know what his price is, but I'm sold.
It's up a little bit, but not too much. So
yeah. I mean, Brogdon's good. I'm definitely interested in him. Really good matchup. Cutting to Halliburton, his potential assists actually got cut in half.
Yeah,
he went from 19.9 to just 10 in the last game. Still turned in a pretty freaking good line because Halliburton's such a baller. But I think Brogdon's kind of here to stay, and they'll kind of deal with the consequences. Apparently, they probably want to try to win games, kind of a la the Wolves last year. They're not in a back-to-back either, so I expect the Mets to be pretty freaking good. And again, I like the matchup here too.
Yeah, I'm interesting to see how this shakes out long term, or at least for the rest of the season, because we saw all that coach speak about how they really wanted it to still be Halliburton's team. They want Brogdon more off ball, and then we saw what happened last game. I'm curious if you just kind of, hey, I'm going to ride the hot hand thing for who's the point, who's the general on any given night. But definitely was Brogdon on Wednesday, and it wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of keep rolling as long as he's healthy. So, it might take a wait and see approach, at least on FanDuel, where I think he's going to be more chalky. But we'll talk about that tonight. All right, let's jump over to some of the other big questionables. Tobias Harris for Philly, not as big of a questionable as it would have been before James Harden was in town, because quite honestly, he hasn't been too heavily featured since he has been here. He's really been fourth fiddle after Maxey here. But what it would do, I think, if Tobias Harris can't go, is open up potential value on Philly, and maybe in the form of a Georges Niang or something like that. So, A, do you expect Tobias Harris to go, and B, who do you think gets a start if he does not?
Well, the Sixers listed him as questionable, which means he's definitely playing. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Georges Niang would definitely get the start given the matchup. He's, we saw him fill in kind of before the break, before the trade, and Harden came back, and he filled in really well when they called on him. So if you need the size, makes a lot of sense. But as you kind of alluded to, where is the usage going to come from? I mean, it's just all Harden and Embiid, and just to kind of share. And also too with Tobias kind of has been tethered a little bit to Harden, but Harden, I mean, small sample, I know it don't get on me, but the Harden minutes without Embiid, it's 34 minutes. He's 41, 9 and 8. He just completely crushes in the non-Embiid minutes too. So Embiid also has been really good, 36 and big stats as well. So really, it's pretty much just a two-horse race in a matchup that I kind of like for Harden, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about Okoro. The Cavs defense has kind of struggled a little bit lately, and yeah, the Sixers offense is just on another level right now. So it could be a lot of points.
Yeah,
we saw what the Hornets did to them.
And as you mentioned in matchups, Embiid crushed this team last month. And, anytime you get either of these guys with, very little attention, I think is interesting. But I would say if Harris is ruled out, there, especially Niang, who's got the power forward eligibility and he's near minimum, if he gets the start, I think he's totally okay to plug in, even though obviously there's not going to be much usage for him. But, keep an eye there as far as some value.
Yeah, not just to say how good that line was, a 40-point triple-double from Harden in his lone game against the Cavs. So, man, for Ohio got a haircut in the last one.
All right. Over to Orlando here. Wendell Carter Jr. pops up as a questionable today. Markelle Fultz is out for just regular injury management after looking pretty good in his first couple games back. I think the Fultz injury or the Fultz sit just clears things up a little bit in that backcourt. Makes Cole and Suggs a little bit more palatable from DFS options. But Wendell, what's the deal there?
Yeah, just illness. We'll see what's up with him. Probably game time. Maybe they sit him out. It's back to back. Getting out of the injury report usually means he's a little bit unlikely in the middle of the day, right? So I think he's got a chance to sit, which obviously would be Mo Bamba kind of party time. The Raptors are, I believe, 28th in offensive rebounding percentage allowed on the season. They've been a little bit better lately, but with all the size they've been putting out there, so it still would be a really good spot. He's avoided fouls. His minutes have been really, really good. As a lone big man, he would be the guy everyone would be looking at after he kind of had a really good game. Shout out to Drew for the flag plant in that last one. And then, Chuma. I think Chuma, man, in a matchup against the Raptors, I think Chuma is a really, really important chess piece that they would want to use. So he would become a player I really want to look at. We saw Markelle Fultz kind of cut into Suggs. I think he hasn't played any minutes next to him yet. They've been kind of running him behind. So taking him out of the mix really adds that increase to Suggs' ceiling. And the matchup's not great, though. So I actually prefer Cole to Suggs without looking at price, just based on the matchup. So there's a lot to be like here. We know that the Raptors are really good at limiting guards, but the opportunity could be pretty impressive, especially if Malachi's going to probably guard Cole, which is good. I think Cole could have. We've seen Cole like really kind of top out. I think he could kind of have a big game here in a matchup that may not look good on paper.
Agreed there. It definitely would be the Bamba show. If no Carter, and then Chuma, I think is an interesting call. We'll keep an eye there. Over to Atlanta, where John Collins, I think, has missed like the last 7 or 8 games, but is questionable on this one after kind of being doubtful or ruled out for most of the last couple weeks. Is tonight the night Collins comes back, or what do we think there?
I don't think so. I mean, the comments from Nate McMillan yesterday didn't lead me to believe that he was even close. Like, there's no word of him doing anything that made you would think he'd have a chance to play. Sometimes he just throw teams as like he was he was listed as doubtful technically. So sometimes people just file injury reports like, okay, he's questionable. So I think he's out. Clint Capella, man, played 33 minutes. 33 minutes and only coming up with like barely a double and no blocks. Like, what the hell? He still hit like all his non-block overs, but what is that crap, man? I wanted to see some 2020s and 3 blocks from Capella yesterday, but a really good matchup here, man. You got everyone who follows our content knows what we like to do to the Wizards. So definitely down for some Capella today. Minutes, well, although it's worth noting though, his back-to-back minutes have been down. But I think this looks a little bit better, so they may be pretty good. But I'm interested regardless.
Agreed. And Okongwu is out there once again, so we can expect to see Gorgie Jang get the backup 5 minutes. But as long as Collins is out, Capella, Gallo, these guys will stay in play at least for tournament options. All right, in Minnesota, we spoke a little bit about the OKC side, but Jared Vanderbilt finds still questionable. And I was looking a little bit. Wouldn't think that this is necessarily a huge one, but obviously he is a starter there. And if he does play, he is rating right now as like one of the best options on DraftKings tonight, with this price all the way down to 4,200 in this matchup. So it actually is a little bit consequential here. So what do we think? Vanderbilt, is he going to play with the questionable tag? And also, Anthony Edwards still out for Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't like Vanderbilt in this matchup. I'll say that. New injury. He's had 2 different injuries, so back-to-back. Definitely think there's a chance he sits, which that opens up a lot of things, namely in the form of Malik Beasley, honestly, because the matchup is freaking awesome for him. The Thunder really pack the paint, and they're vulnerable to 3-pointers if you could hit them, and Beasley's been cooking. He's one of the hottest 3-point shooters in the last month or so. So his minutes should be really, really secure. Probably starts. Vanderbilt will be a 4. They certainly don't really need the exercise against Beasley. They can kind of get away with whatever they want to do with it. And that would probably actually, like, this sounds kind of weird. It would really help SGA. Yeah. I think you'd have to play McDaniels more as like a 4, and you had to put Patrick Beverley on him. I'd rather have Beverley on SGA than the other reasons. So big kind of a trickle down effect on SGA that we want to watch. Beasley would be like circle. Big time. I assume he's cheap. McDaniels man should be pretty safe, but we know he has foul risk. not the biggest upside. And then I don't think it really affects D'Angelo and Cat, who I like, by the way. We've seen the Thunder really pack like the paint on guys. Cat's not getting paint touches. He only has, I think, 2.4 paint touches since the break. That's insanely low for as big as that man is. He's like a gigantic guard. I expect him to wreck this OKC front court today.
Yeah, I love Cat here too. And see, I think you just gave a lot of goodies there, because Vanderbilt is like right now, I mean, it's early in the day, but right now he's coming through with chalk on DraftKings and FanDuel at his low 4K price. So, I mean, if you don't like him as is, plus if he's a little banged up, that I think that's
fade.
Fade, and like there's some direct pivots within the game itself there. So very interesting spot there.
Chris Finch is smart, man. He knows how OKC plays defense, and they play in. They let people shoot threes on them, and the reason why Vanderbilt's lost minutes is because he said they want to keep defenses honest.
Yeah,
and like OKC, they're just going to sit in there and protect the paint as best they can. So like putting Vanderbilt on the court in this matchup, it sounds insane. Like people who don't watch basketball, like, what are you talking about? Like OKC's defense, like OKC's structural defense is to like really protect the paint. And they've been really good as a half court defense, like I think 5th in 2020 or something like that. So it's a sneaky bad matchup for Vanderbilt, honestly.
This is the good stuff that we're giving away for free over here on the ETR YouTube channel, because I seriously, those are gold nuggets right there, especially when someone's going to get a lot of ownership. So, all right, I think those are all the major questionable tags. We do see Zeke Naji pop up once again for Denver. Seems like he's been questionable for 2 weeks now and missed pretty much every game. Also, so I mean, I don't know why you would necessarily come back tonight, but if he does, I guess it would just kind of eat into Jeff Green and JaMychal Green a little bit here, and maybe trickle down to the Bryn Forbes types as well.
Yeah, the guards would be affected a little bit. They'd play a little bit bigger, as you kind of alluded to there. But what a bad game from them the last time. Their starters went 1 of 25 from 3. Bad loss to OKC. Yeah, I had a big parlay with I was like, okay, I got like 2 things. I had like Miami plus 4.5, and then with something else it was easy cover. Oh, the Suns in the spread. And I was like, okay, let me just tack on a couple. Freaking Denver lost. But I think that affects. I don't think it's like a huge deal, but I think they want to play him, man. The bench is pretty good, but Malone loves that dude. So it would have as you said, a little bit of upside. I think Jeff Green's on a tighter leash. That could definitely affect him. Would take him off the board, in my opinion, if Najee plays. But yeah, also I just started playing Pirtle, and Zeke Naji was one of the answers the other day.
He was yesterday. Yesterday was my first one I've ever done, and I was Zeke Naji. So
did you put the silhouette on?
I didn't. I've never done the silhouette.
Oh, okay, I did the first one. I was like, "What the hell is this? This is freaking hard!" And then I put the silhouette on, and I was like, "That's Zeke Naji's silhouette." I knew in 2 seconds.
Yeah, but, I got it in 4 guesses without the silhouette, so I was
nice,
happy.
I got to do the silhouette for sure.
It's a funny game. I will say this. There's no I don't have numbers or data to back this up, but Denver coming off a really disappointing loss against OKC, and Houston really hanging in there against Utah. I like Denver to cover this one. I think they blow them out at home tonight.
I think you're right.
So anyway, it's a big spread, but I think that's one team's in a big bounce back spot. One team's in a little bit of a letdown spot. So
a couple things to add on since Think's not here. I gotta talk Jokic. I didn't pull the full stats, but the last time I pulled it, Jokic after a loss smashed for a 9-game sample, pre-break, and there's been a couple games since, and both those games he smashed. So Jokic after a loss is a thing against Christian, and he has kind of so-so numbers, 26 a game, mediocre passing. That's against Daniel Tice. So against what's going to be a combination of Jayshawn Tate, little Şengün, little Wood. I think he does not respect Wood. He will be cleaning up. I expect a really, really big Jokic performance after Isaiah Roby gave him the business last game.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm glad we do that, because I missed the questionable in that same game. Dennis Schroeder is questionable as well. Totally missed that in our rundown. My bad. So Schroeder, we saw him sit the last game, right? He sat on Wednesday, I think.
Yep.
And I was trying to think who's going to benefit here. Looks like obviously KPJ was okay, but it was Kenny Martin Jr. that ended up getting a lot more minutes, and Tate went down for a little bit there. But any word on Schroeder tonight?
I think he might sit. It was a legit ankle sprain. He played through it. They really don't think want to keep him out there. I think they want to develop that chemistry between KPJ and Jalen Green. And man, KPJ ran away with the role in the last game. Almost 10 minutes of touch time. more than league leading James Harden. He had 21 potential assists in the last game, more than CP3's leading 19.4. Good matchup. I feel like I always like KPJ every Friday for whatever reason it may be, but I like KPJ, especially if Schroeder can't go. You mentioned Jayshawn Tate. It sounds like he's going to go, so that'll take KJ Martin out of the mix a little bit, but I think he's earned playing time. Like Steven Silas said after the game, they really wanted involvement in the offense, and they were running like even like on ball stuff, but a lot of like weak side stuff too. So I think KJ Martin, if like Tate goes from like a probable to a doubtful or something, like he would be an absolute smash play.
Yep. Agreed there. All right, cool. I think that about covers it for injuries today. Keep an eye. Obviously you never know, somebody might pop up here, but some important ones that we talked about, and we'll dive in more on the DFS show at 5:00 Eastern today, which I believe will be me and you, right? G&G back in action.
Yeah, Dink needs to smell the roses some more. So
Dink's shipping up to Boston. And so anything else to add, or we can get out of there on that?
Let's get out of here. I could squeeze a hike in before we start jamming in, so I can leave my desk for the last like 36 hours.
I hope you get the chance to. I'm gonna finish writing top plays, and if you like what you heard here, please do subscribe. Smash the like button. We appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to what we're doing over on the NBA DFS side, we're locked and loaded. We already have projections, ownership up on site for today. Top plays will be up around 5:00. You see Mike's matchup column there. Some great stuff we're doing over there. And then of course we just been crushing the prop game. 7-1 yesterday, Mike?
8-2.
8-2.
I think we're like 80%. We've been hot, killing it since the break. So
crushing it.
We
already fired off
all the effort. Yeah, we're in a groove, man. I think the projections are running really hot. I think I've gotten a lot better at reading where a good matchup is the last like month or so. So we're really cooking. I expect we're going to finish on a really, really high note.
Absolutely. All right. So we'll see you at 5:00 if you're a subscriber. If not, please do, like the video here. And thank you for tuning in. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday.